You are a U.S. Marshal, and today you become a criminal. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. And you already feel it happening. Because the system you trusted is suddenly showing cracks you can use. And once you see it that way, you cannot unsee it again. It starts outside a federal courthouse, sunlight hitting your badge, still shining. But something about it feels different, like it belongs to someone else now. You tell yourself nothing has changed yet, but something already has inside. Because you are about to make a decision that rewrites everything, permanently. You are escorting a mid-level drug dealer into his arraignment, quietly. His lawyer pulls you aside, calm, controlled, like this is routine business. He slides an envelope across, and you already know what it means. You do not open it, because you do not need to anymore. Just delay paperwork for 48 hours, nothing permanent, nothing traceable. It sounds harmless, almost procedural. Something nobody would ever question deeply. And that is exactly why it works, because it feels invisible. You think about your daughter needing braces, bills stacking quietly every month. You remember her smile, the way she trusts you without hesitation. You think about your wife asking questions you cannot keep avoiding anymore, and that pressure feels heavier than the envelope in your hand. So your hand moves before your conscience can catch up with you. And just like that, something small shifts into something irreversible quietly. At first, nothing happens, and that silence feels like permission instead. Days pass, no investigation, no questions, no consequences, just routine life. And that absence of punishment rewires how your brain processes risk quickly. Because reward without consequence is the fastest way to change behavior. You check the money again, $5,000 sitting untouched, waiting quietly. You expect guilt to hit, but it never arrives the way you feared. Instead, something else replaces it, something quieter, something far more dangerous. Confidence begins forming where fear used to exist inside you before. Then, another man approaches you casually, like coincidence, like normal conversation. Then another, each one more confident than the last. Coffee shops, parking garages, even your kid's soccer game sidelines quietly. That is when you realize your name is circulating somewhere unseen. And now, you are not being tested, you are being recruited actively. The jobs grow slowly, lose evidence, delay transfers, ignore small violations. Each task feels isolated, but together they build something much larger. The money scales quickly, 10 becomes 20, then 50 without resistance anymore. You upgrade your car, your lifestyle shifts, your story barely holds together. Your coworkers notice, but nobody wants to ask the real question. Because people protect comfort, even when truth is obvious in front. So they accept your explanation because doubt would break their world too. And that silent agreement becomes your strongest protection inside the system. Now you are living two lives, and both feel real every day. A badge in daylight, a burner phone buzzing constantly in darkness. And somewhere in that transition, fear disappears without you noticing it, replaced by control, momentum, and something dangerously close to addiction. Then the call comes, and everything changes faster than you expected. A cartel lieutenant transfer, high value, high risk, career-defining operation. But they are not offering cash, they are offering something far bigger. 50 kilos of uncut cocaine, pure, untouched, worth millions instantly. Your share sits at $800,000 after distribution completes. 800,000. The number repeats inside your head constantly now. You have never crossed into drugs before. That was your final boundary. But money at that scale rewires how your brain calculates risk completely. You stop asking if you should and start mapping how it works. Because now it is not temptation, it is a system you understand. 72 hours, studying routes, cameras, response times, every variable carefully. You start noticing blind spots you never saw when you were honest. And that realization scares you more than anything else so far, because it means the system was always vulnerable. You just never looked. You volunteer to lead the convoy, and nobody questions your initiative. They trust you more, and that makes what you are doing worse. Because betrayal hits harder when it comes from someone fully trusted. And deep down, you know this is the point of no return. Tuesday morning arrives, and everything feels too normal to be real. 3 vehicles, standard formation, you lead, Everything looks exactly right outside. The lieutenant sits behind you, calm, because he already knows everything. 15 miles out, you call a detour, voice steady, protocol followed perfectly. You turn onto a service road, empty warehouses, no witnesses anywhere nearby. Then it happens fast. Vehicles block the road. Tactical teams move instantly. Your team reacts immediately, hands reaching for weapons, adrenaline spiking hard. And this is the moment where planning becomes irreversible reality instantly. You raise your hand and give the order they will never forget. Stand down, hold position, do not engage under any circumstances. Martinez looks at you, confused, searching for something that is gone. You remember when he first joined, how much he respected you. He says your name slowly, like he is waiting for correction, but you stay silent, and that silence answers everything permanently. 90 seconds later, the lieutenant is gone, and the deal is done. No gunfire, no chaos, just a clean transaction executed perfectly. And that makes it worse, because it feels controlled, not accidental. That night, you stand in a storage unit staring at 50 helos. It does not look like money, it looks like something that ends lives. Because at this level, mistakes do not get corrected, they get erased. Your phone rings, your wife asking when you are coming home tonight. Her voice sounds normal, and that somehow makes everything feel worse instantly, because she has no idea who you are becoming right now. You pause before answering, and she notices the hesitation immediately. She asks if everything is okay, and you say yes automatically. And in that moment, you realize lying has become second nature already. Within a week, Internal Affairs begins asking questions, quietly but precisely. Route inconsistencies, missing logs, small cracks forming into something bigger now. An analyst flags anomalies. A witness reports suspicious movement near the route. Individually, nothing, but together forming a pattern that cannot be ignored. And now, the illusion of control starts slipping slowly out of reach. Then the call comes, and this time there is no space left. 48 hours, move everything, or they will come retrieve it themselves. And you know exactly what that word means in their world. Retrieve does not mean collect. It means eliminate every loose end completely. Your brain shifts from strategy into survival mode almost instantly. You set up the first deal, parking garage, late night, controlled environment. The buyer inspects the product calmly, like this is everyday business. He tests purity, nods, then offers $400,000 without hesitation. You notice how relaxed he is, and that makes you more nervous. Because people who fear consequences do not act like that at all. You accept immediately, because speed matters more than profit right now. 2 more deals follow, Brooklyn, Bronx, each one risking everything again. Each meeting feels like a trap, waiting to close at any moment. You check every mirror, every corner, every shadow behind you, constantly. Because paranoia becomes survival when risk reaches this level of exposure. But somehow, everything moves clean. No interference, no immediate consequences. Which does not feel like luck. It feels like something building instead. By the end, the product is gone and $800,000 is real. Hidden inside your wall. Silent, but heavier than anything you owned before. Friday morning, your office is sealed before you even sit down. Internal Affairs is waiting, calm, controlled, already holding everything they need. Photos hit the table, parking garage, storage units, you in both places. They explain the charges, 25 to life without cooperation immediately. Then they offer a deal, testify, dismantle the cartel, reduce everything drastically. 5 years, maybe less, witness protection, a chance to survive this. Your brain starts calculating again. Survival versus exposure, risk versus control. Then your phone lights up, and everything shifts instantly, forever. 2 words from your wife. They know. And your blood runs cold. She says men came to the house, not police, not federal agents. They looked into the camera and smiled before walking away slowly. No threats spoken, but the message lands louder than anything else. And now your family is part of something they cannot escape. You run, because staying means losing everything immediately without control. You call your wife, tell her to leave, take the kids immediately. No packing, no questions. Just go and do not look back. Then the cartel calls again, offering one final way out. Bring them federal case files, names, evidence, everything in 4 hours. Or your family disappears, and they do not need to explain. So you turn the car around and head back toward the building. But this time, you are not going back as an officer anymore. You enter through the basement, every step louder than before somehow. The building feels empty, but not safe. Something feels carefully arranged. You reach the system, start downloading everything they asked you for. Names, informants, operations, lives depending on this staying protected. Your brain tries to justify it. Family first, survival above everything else. The files finish, and when you turn, she is standing there. Your supervisor, silent, asking if any of it was ever real. You cannot answer, because nothing fixes what you already destroyed. So you walk past her, and she lets you go without resistance. The warehouse waits, quiet, empty, exactly where they told you earlier. You hand over the drive, and time stretches while they verify everything. A gun raises, and your body goes still, waiting for the outcome. Then light floods the room, voices shouting, federal agents everywhere, instantly. The cartel realizes too late, the drive was never real. Tracking malware, a setup, and you just exposed everything they built. And just like that, everything ends. But nothing feels finished inside. You are alive. Your family is safe, but everything else is gone. Your badge, your career, your identity burned down to nothing left. The prosecutor offers the deal again. Cooperate, survive what comes next. You will go to prison, and you will lose everything you built. But at the final moment, when everything could have ended differently, you chose something that still lets you live with yourself barely. Not clean, not redeemed, but not completely lost either. And sometimes, that is the only ending you get to keep.